So I updated my Riot Foam core set build you saw in the last video, my hybrid tank core set build. And instead of using Bulwark Shield, I realized I should use Deflector because the core set is buffing shield so much. Like, I'm not going to be a pure shield regen build and actually be able to maintain my shield forever. But again, core set increases the strength, the health of your shield a bunch, and then reduces the cooldown a bunch, so even when it breaks, you can just get it back a lot quicker that way. And that's when I realized when I looked at the Deflector shield, it's like, oh, it's boosting not just the Deflector shield's durability, but its damage output. A good amount. In fact, you can get more damage on the Deflector shield going just core set than you can if you were to go like all skill damage on a non-core set build. Because I think the base amount is usually 140 damage, it says on Deflector shield, at max like 6 skill tiers. And then when you slap on like 50% skill damage, you'd get maybe close to 190. And then if you get even more through like a brand set, you can probably break to like 200k, a little bit more, at least at the numbers it tells you when I was looking at skill damage buffs to it. But yeah, like with what I'm doing now, I have 256. Now, I also realized armor cores buff it more than skill tiers. Like, I think the community lied, because I remember reading somewhere that skill tiers instead of armor cores buff it. But I could not see any difference at all, at least based on the number it tells you, which is usually the number that's accurate in combat too. I mean, the stats it tells you are almost always what it turns out to be in combat, whether it's what it tells you for crit chance, crit damage, armor regen, armor amount, or like shield amount. Everything else on shield ends up being right. So I'm like, yeah, I assume that's right, but I won't deny I haven't actually just sat down and looked exactly at the number output. But so basically the armor cores count towards its skill tiers anyway, but then they also give you skill efficiency with core set. So that's why it buffs it. It doubly buffs it in core set. So I gave up another skill tier in order to get another armor core, slapped skill haste off my Riot Foam and added another ammo amount to it. So I still have about 5 ammo on the Riot Foam with just 3 skill tiers. And it's still pretty good. It has the exact same amount of cooldown as duration if you saw. But my Deflector shield is a lot better, and it's just, this offers just a perfect balance in my view. Like, this is like the most versatile tank build I think I can make, because you're not doing just pure tank, pure shield. You actually have a very useful Riot Foam skill. You still got 3 skill tiers from it being boosted also by core set, so it still feels like you can foam enemies regularly. And then you're going core set, so you also get weapon damage boost. So with Tempest pistol as the best pistol, you still feel like you're doing good damage with your pistol. And then with Riot Foam, we have ensnare boosts on our shotgun and LMG, which are the 2 best DPS type weapons, I think. Is like, if you're not going to have a high DPS built and a DPS built for ARs and SMGs and stuff, like, all things being equal, shotguns and LMGs offer the most damage output. So yeah, especially the burst shotgun we use for when we can justify not having our shield equipped. However, we also got rid of the we have the investor mask. We got rid of Bellstone to add an improvised piece to get another protection from elite buff. So we still maintain a very high regen amount that I like, but we have another protection from elite buff, and that's because elites are the ones that bypass Deflector shield regularly. So yeah, it offers a good combo. one last thing I forgot to mention. I've taken this build testing in Legendary Stronghold soloing and Escalation Tier 3 soloing, and they both felt challenging but doable. However, I nerfed my quantum by switching my build now. It doesn't have as much quantum as I did in the previous version since I was using other gear that I already quantumed up. I have like 5.9 or something percent, and the cap will be like with 5 at least active. That'll be like 23 something. Then every time that's also why I like the build, because I don't get it with my pistol shield, but then when I switch to my shotgun or LMG, I get another quantum buff, which works out good because that just means when I don't have my shield out, I get a little bit tankier that way to still justify using that sometimes. I do that a lot when I realize, like, if I'm in a group and the enemies just aren't targeting me that much, or if there's just like lone enemies all around that I'm just hunting down, that's when I don't use the shield, because it's like I'm tanky enough to still not equip it a lot of times, especially with quantums, and just do the usual run and gun, riot foam, shotgun, riot foam, LMG at a distance. You know, this build can still be viable at a distance too because of that. You can still use cover and just combine riot foam with the LMG, and you're still doing pretty good. That's what I mean. It can do pretty much everything. But yeah, on Tier 3 Escalation, the shield still feels pretty durable enough, when I'm soloing at least, to face tank non-elites and kill them quickly, because non-elites, the damage on Escalation, the Deflector shield damage scales with the enemy's damage. So that's why it's actually pretty good in Escalation, because it still does a good amount of damage no matter what, because it's just deflecting the enemy's damage output back to themselves. However, I would never take it into high tiers. Even if I made a pure tank version with Deflector shield, I would never use it in high tiers, because at that point, even if you're max protection from elites, sniper elites are still doing tons of damage to your armor, even with 80% protection from elites on you. And then they're always bypassing your shield, so then you're just stuck taking constant huge damage ticks in the open from like elite snipers you can't do anything about until they're dead. So that's one thing. The other thing is Deflector shield does not protect your angle of its angle of protection is the worst of all the 3 shields. Like Crusader shield actually gives you more protection in terms of just blocking damage than Deflector does. And Bulwark is like no contest. Like, I just noticed, even though non-elites always attack the shield, that's only if they're in the angle radius. And the angle radius of protection is much smaller than the Bulwark. So you'll still die to non-elites very frequently that just flank you even a little bit. Like, this is not viable in my view. But I think when it gets max quantumed up, this build might be viable even all the way up to Tier 5, if not 6 Escalation, because the shield probably will still feel pretty tanky, still doing decent damage, and then Riot Foam checks the Harvester mutation. So, but I'll have to finish it before I can know for certain. I know the Legendary Strongholds will be a lot easier once I get a lot more quantums.